Hello, hi, welcome to BRR Knowledge Center. And in this today's session, we'll talk about Web API. What is Web API and how we are going to create a Web API and how we are going to deploy and access Web API using, the Visual Studio 2022 .NET Framework 6.0. Let's talk about the introduction bit in this session, and we'll continue the next further creation and deployment in next coming sessions. So what is Web API? So Web API is a framework that makes it easy to build HTTP services that reach a broad range of clients, including browsers and mobile devices. So this API is nothing but application programming interface where it interfaces between the website and the database. So ASP.NET Web API is an ideal platform for building RESTful applications on the .NET framework. So the RESTful again is nothing but a lightweight service where we have lightweight endpoints and endpoints where we can access it through different devices using especially from the mobile devices where it carries a low network bandwidth and low or small size of inputs from the client, and then it is processing the response and giving back to the client. So when you're building API on the web, there are several ways you can build API on the web, and those must be follow the HTTP standards, RESTful standards, like using of HTTP web methods. The web themselves are included in the APIs, like get customers or insert customers or delete customers, and that each of these endpoints end up being a separate URI. Let's talk about more on these HTTP webs, like what are all the HTTP webs we are going to use it in Web API and how we are going to use it. So when we talk about HTTP webs here, basically talk about get, post, put, delete. These four are the HTTP web methods we frequently using it in APIs. So a large portion of application functionality can be summed upon in the acronym word called CRUD. So this is what CRUD operations when we talk about. So what are all these CRUD? C stands for create. That means we use post HTTP method. And R stands for read. That means we use this for get. And U stands for update. That means put method, we use it here. And D stands for delete. Here we use delete HTTP web here. So these are the basic HTTP web methods we are using it as part of creating Web API. These are fulfilling this acronym word called CRUD operations, which stands for create, read, update, delete. So there are four HTTP methods that corresponds to these actions, like post, get, put, and delete. And if you talk about some examples of creating these HTTP web methods, and let's get into this and see like how we are going to write this simple example. Let us say like if you wanted to write in .NET the web API using .NET framework, we will be having syntax called public IHTTP action result. Let's say like I'm going to add it something like some string name or employee name, and how it could be like here you will write your syntax or the model invoke, so where you will now create instance and then call your model object to add the string based on the employee name or the class. So and then you simply saying that return. Okay, this is what the method we are going to return once you may write your stuff in the add method. So on top of this method, we'll be simply saying HTTP post here. This is nothing but inserting a value. And if you wanted to get a value, and you simply say public IHTTP action result and get off some EMP name, and for this I'm passing EMP ID as attribute. Here you will write your the add the relevant stuff to fetch the employee stuff based on the given ID. And here you will be returning again EMP ID or a kind of JSON. If you wanted to return, you will be the results JSON. So here where you write stuff here, and that stuff you are going to return back to the client like result JSON, and you just mention it here, okay, of something. This is where it will send you the response with proper HTTP response code. So for this, you just mention here the method as HTTP get. Okay, so I think this is how you are going to define your method using proper HTTP web method. We can tell from the name of the action, and let's be real, the comment, that this action is supposed to create an employee. So we should use the post web on this kind of action, and you are adding a name to the employee object. And similarly, when you wanted to return the relevant employee name based on the MP ID, we must specify the relevant web here, get method. So if you need a particular action to support more than one HTTP method, then also you can use it, kind of post and get. So when it comes to here, I told you like there is a put method as well, which is similar to post. So here post and put both are using it for creating or updating a record. The main difference between post and put was very similar in that they both send data to the server. That server will need store somewhere. Technically speaking, you could use either for the create or update scenarios. And in fact, this is rather common. The difference lies in the details. So this is how we are going to define the standards for HTTP webs, and that way we are going to use it. And if you look at the diagram here, so these are the HTTP webs: get, put, post, delete. And this is using it for reading, and this is for updating, this is for creating, and this is for using it delete. So the overall structure of web API once you create it was looks like this way. Like these are the areas where we used to invoke web API from the browsers or the phones and other devices. And here it will hit the relevant controller based on the root URI you are mentioning it, and then it will fetch it business stuff by connecting to business logic, and then it is moving to database and get the relevant stuff back and give it to client. So this how it looks like. The web API is going to work, and this way I think we can interact with the website and client applications to have data access. So we generally often use it to provide an interface for websites and client applications to have data access. So as I mentioned, ASP.NET Web API is a framework that make it easy to build HTTP web service that reaches a broader range of clients, including browsers, mobile applications, and desktop applications on IoT devices as well. So I hope you understand the web API purpose here and the HTTP web methods, like how we are going to use it and create using HTTP web methods here. Let's talk about how to create this web API using .NET 6.0 framework and the next session. Thank you. Thanks for watching this video.